Yeah, but here's the question, because I wonder about this as someone who's labeled a right winger and a bigot, a horrible Hollywood dad.
You?
Yeah,
I heard what you were talking about in the last segment.
I get a lot of that. I get a lot of that just because I have strong opinions on things.
But sometimes you do it as satirically. I think that would.
Well, the thing is they run. Here's a couple things. You could say, I'm for gay marriage. I'm for the legalization of marijuana. I'm for a woman's right to choose, and I want us to pull out of Afghanistan. And then you could go, but I don't think taxes should be raised. And they'd go, fucking righty.
Yeah.
You're such a right winger. You and Chuck Heston should go polish your musket somewhere. And you're like, am I not allowed to have one opinion? Yeah. One fucking opinion that differs from your super lefty agenda? I have one opinion, less government. And then maybe we share 8 out of 10 opinions. But I have one opinion about beefing up the border. And all of a sudden, me and Ronald Reagan are just going on a hayride somewhere to hell. And it's like, why am I not allowed to have one opinion that differs from you? And then why, if I had 8 opinions that covered you, but 2 that differed from you, then how can you call me a member of this group when I have more in common with the group that you're associated with?
Here's what I'll tell you about this. I really am not that political. I don't even care what my opinion is on gay marriage or on abortion. I care about ending the tyranny that you see from the hard left. I really don't like the hard left. I don't mind my liberal Democrat neighbors, who are JFK liberals. I hate the tyranny of the hard left. Wherever you see the left in charge, Hugo Chavez's Venezuela, in Cuba, there isn't a First Amendment. There isn't free speech. And so think about this. During the anti-war campaign against George Bush, you heard dissent is patriotic, dissent is patriotic, dissent is patriotic. And then Joe Lieberman, who 3 years before that, was the standard bearer of the Democratic Party, running as vice president, he disagrees on one thing. He says, no, I support George Bush on the war on terror, and the hard left extricated him and annihilated him and took away his reputation with the Democratic Party for disagreeing on one thing.
Right.
I hate that.
Well, let me ask this. I have this theory, which is I don't think that the hard left hates Republicans. I think they just hate this country. I really do think they hate this country. And they never say that. They do that thing where they go, we support the troops, we love the troops, but we don't support the cause. Right. And by the way, saying that it's like saying I love the players but I hate the team.
Right.
Or I wish they'd lose the game but I love the players. Like, which is it? If you support the troops or you love the troops, then don't give me that bullshit where you get to have it both ways, where you get to be the patriot and love the troops, but you don't like the cause. But whenever you really get into it with these people, whether it be I remember when Reagan called the Soviet Union an evil empire, and a lot of people on the left got their panties in a bunch. Hugo Chavez, any of these people, Castro. What are you big fans of these people? Really? Like, are you really big fans of these super oppressive dictators? Are you really big fans of what goes on in the Middle East and how they treat their women over there? I thought you were all about humanitarian rights. I thought the whole deal was you're about the individual and their rights. And all these fucking countries that you semi-glorify and protect, they're horrible. And they're horrible to their people. You should be the tip of the spear when it comes to getting those guys out of office or doing whatever we need to do over there. So is it that you really love them, or is it more that you hate us? And I suspect it's a self-loathing thing. I know it is, from a psychodynamic standpoint. Right. They have it's like all the people that were here that were, communists or socialists back in the day, they didn't know for one goddamn hot second what it was like over there. And they wouldn't have lasted 10 seconds in a communist regime. There's no sane person or honest person that says, oh, no, I think communism is a better lifestyle and a better way of governing people. No, they hate this. It's not that they like that. They hate this, but they won't admit that they hate this.
Yeah, they're just not intellectually honest about it.
They're angry at the man.
I actually like leftists who will admit that they're Marxist-Leninists, and they exist, and they say, I want to take this country down. At least they're honest about it. I can be friends with them. I can, have beers with them. What I don't like is how they get, the PR that they're peaceful, and they're saying, hey, let's try and find common ground with Hugo Chavez and Ahmadinejad, and let's meet together. Think about how they treat Sarah Palin. Think about how they treat conservatives. They're hardly peaceful people when it comes to dealing with people in the United States. Think about how they treated the Mormon Church. Think about how they treated that cashier at El Coyote who gave $100 to Prop 8. Completely demonized that person. I would say to them, if you're consistent, let's go to the First AME Church in South Central Los Angeles and let's start protesting gay marriage. Will you do that?
Right.
They won't do that. They go after the easiest targets in the world. They're just a bunch of bullies. But I'll say this. I will say this for the Hollywood left. They're much better at capitalism than the conservative right. Like the magazines that you associate with the conservative movement, they're so good at propounding the virtues of capitalism and the American way that there is no group of people who are better at capitalism and expanding into greater markets than the Hollywood left. They're like, hey, let's get the top guy in Bulgaria, the top entertainment in Bulgaria, put him in Die Hard 7, and then we'll market it in Bulgaria. We don't even know that happened, right. That he was in the movie. But they ended up selling out seats in Bulgaria because he's in it. So I think a lot of it comes from that obvious liberal guilt. People who came from absolutely no money, got off the bus, made it big, and they feel so unbelievably guilty about it that they run around with their noblesse oblige liberalism.
The part how do they reconcile? And by the way, speaking of the strike, first off, Writers Union, fuck you. Screen Actors Guild, fuck you. I don't want to be in any of your shitty unions. I would love to be out of your piece of shit extortionist racket of a fucking union you guys have.
And they're still claiming it was a victory.
How they
we totally changed the Hollywood system.
I love when people.
As much.
I love the crazy blind allegiance that every asshole in Hollywood has towards SAG and AFTRA. Fuck you guys. It's a fucking Shanghai you. They take your first fucking paycheck and they shove you into this union. And then all these asswipes go, oh yeah? Well, if you weren't in that union, then how are you going to get your free dental care? I'd fucking pay for a dental plan that would save me a shitload of money over the money I have to fucking pay into these fucking extortionists who don't do shit for me. And then they go, oh, what about the commercials? When you do a commercial? When we do a commercial, my agent gets in, James Baby Doll Dixon, and they haggle over how much to get me to hold up a Taco Bell taco. That's it. I don't need this fucking union bullshit. And I don't understand why the left is so fucking in love with these extortionists. And by the way, you don't have a choice. You want to work in Hollywood, you get sucked into this fucking blood-sucking unions, and then they have votes and all this kind of shit. We had Ed Asner on our show the other day. I think he was president of one of the unions. He started talking about 9/11 and this bullshit conspiracy theory and about how, we took the buildings down and stuff. And then at a certain point, he started talking about how we could have liberated Auschwitz two years earlier, but we chose not to, and this and that and the other. As I was driving home, I just realized that old fuck hates this country. Yeah. It's not that he loves Auschwitz or the Jews. It's not that he fucking thinks that there's something in the buildings. It's more he hates this country.
I think he's still bitter. He's still bitter. Ted Knight, I think, came out better.
I kind of just want to rip his ample back hair out.
Yes.
One
tuft
at a time.
How